everyone, today we're going to be looking at the 4 factors of production. Factors? Wait, what? Are we doing maths now? No, not that kind of factors. Today we're looking at the factors of production. So hopefully by the end of it you'll be able to work out how things are produced, like chocolate. More interested now? Let's get right into it. Okay, let's start by defining what the factors of production are. The factors of production are the ingredients of economic activity. Wait, that sounds a bit complicated, ingredients of economic activity. To make things a bit clearer, it might be helpful to watch my first GCSE Economic video, 1.11, on economic activity, but you don't really need to know about that. The factors of production are basically the resources needed to make all goods and services. What are there? Well, I mentioned that there were 4, and these are land, labour, capital, and enterprise. Let's go through them one by one. Okay, let's start off with land, because that's number 1 on our list. This is probably the most misinterpreted out of the 4 factors of production, because when people think of land, they think of this type of land, which is part of the land in factors of production. However, this land also includes other natural resources, which are like oil, water, lumber, and coal. Basically, natural things that the planet provides for us. Okay, number 2. This is labour. It is the physical effort put into making goods and providing services. So me, right now, talking to you through this camera in this YouTube video is right now providing you with labour in making a good, which is this video. And if you still are watching it, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Not a dislike, just hit the thumbs up down below, thanks. That would be really appreciated. Anyway, labour can be less fixed than land is, because land is provided with the earth, this planet, which is mostly fixed in its supply, whereas labour, it depends on the population in a country or an area, their willingness to work, the laws and regulations about labour, the health of the economy, and entrepreneurs, which we will get to because that's the 4th part of the production. Okay, we're on to the 3rd factors of production, which is capital. And no, we're now not going into a geography lesson either. This is something in economics, which is not capital cities, okay? Calm down. So, capital is usually referred to as money in finance and economics, but in this case, as one of the factors of production, it actually can be split into 2 things which are nothing to do with money. It's physical capital and human capital. So physical capital is man-made stuff which help produce other stuff. Like a robot in a factory is physical capital because it's a man-made thing that helps produce other things like cars or something. Or like a tractor which helps produce crops, and it's also man-made which help produce other things. So those 2 are all physical capital. And human capital is the knowledge and skill of a person. Like me sharing my knowledge with you, my economics knowledge with you through this video is showing you my human capital. So hopefully I've got a good human capital enough to share with you my knowledge. Comment below what you think. So human capital helps differentiate the skills of different people so that they can be better at their own job. So we wouldn't use an electrician to be a doctor because they don't have that human capital to be a doctor. Whereas a person with those skills can be a very good doctor, which makes sense, obviously. Economists like to call human capital the potential economic wealth that is contained in a person with their skills and their knowledge, because their training and education can help them provide a service or a good that can be very valuable to the economy as a whole. Okay, let's move on to the 4th and last factors of production, which is entrepreneurship. I touched on this briefly earlier, but let's go into it a bit more in detail. So this is like the person or the thing that brings all of these other factors of production together. So an entrepreneur is somebody who has an idea of like a company or enterprise to mix all the other factors of production, which is land, labour, and capital, into and to create a product which can earn themselves money. They can be willing to take on risk in the pursuit of profit. Okay, before we move on to some examples, let's just touch on a few things that have something to do with factors of production. So there's scarcity, which I could have mentioned in my first video, but that was getting quite long, so let's touch on it now. So this is basically saying the factors of production aren't unlimited. This seems pretty obvious if you think about it, but it's helpful to get this down into a word, which is scarcity. This is the whole point of the economy, to help find an efficient way to allocate these scarce resources to produce the best as we can to provide for our wants. And this brings me on to the second thing, which is unlimited wants. Economists assume people have unlimited wants, like boundless things that they all want. And the scarcity reminds us that we have limited resources which can only fulfill a tiny proportion of these unlimited wants. But that, again, is the whole purpose of the economy, to find the best and efficient way to use these resources. Which again leads on to the next thing, which is a resource. This is a service or an asset used to produce goods and services that meet humans' needs and wants. And then I've been also saying about goods and services. So a good is something that satisfies human wants, and a service is a transaction where no physical good really is transferred from the seller to the buyer. So again, me talking to you is a service, because I'm not like selling your product, unless this video is sponsored, which it's not, because I'm only 12 years old and I doubt there's companies out there who want to sponsor a 12-year-old. Anyway, let's get back to the actual video. So let's have an example. So I did mention earlier about chocolate. Let's just use chocolate as an example to show the factors of production. So let's start off with land. So the company that made this chocolate needed a factory to produce all these chocolate bars, which are, by the way, really, really yummy. So they needed the land to put that factory on, and they also needed other natural resources to actually create the chocolate. So let's see, basically all these ingredients are the natural resources, like cocoa, butter, sugar, hazelnuts, milk, etc. So all of these were needed to create this chocolate bar. So that's land out of the way. Okay, labour. So the labour that needed to produce chocolate was, it started all the way in some tropical place where they needed people to pick the cocoa beans, and then they needed people to supervise and create the chocolate in the factory, etc. They even needed people to market it and sell it in the shops. So that's all the labour out of the way. Now move on to capital. Okay, so the capital needed to create this chocolate bar is again split up into physical capital and human capital. So the physical capital was like the trays that you pour the chocolate bit into, that is counted as physical capital because it's needed. It's a man-made thing that helps create the product, which is the chocolate. Maybe they have robots, I don't even know. I haven't researched into the Galaxy factories. If you want to, you can. Comment below what you find. And they could also have like forklifters, which help put all these chocolate bars up, like we, etc. And trucks, which help transport the chocolate, and etc. And then human capital would be the expertise in making chocolate. Is pouring brown gooey liquid into a mesh really expertise? Well, anyway, that is human capital, so that's capital out of the way. Now the last one, number 4, the entrepreneurship. This is the most important out of all of them. So the person who started the company of Galaxy was the person who actually began this entire idea of the chocolate. So without them, there wouldn't be any chocolate to begin with. So they brought together all the land, the labour and capital to make the chocolate, and they probably managed to turn over a profit with this chocolate business. So that's an example of how the factors of production work. And we're done! That's it, the factors of production, 1.12 of GCSE Economics. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And if you're doing GCSE Economics yourself, you might find it helpful to turn on those notifications so that you get told when I release new GCSE Economic videos, which I will be doing over the next few weeks. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you next time. Okay, just to end this video, you can always just click here for the next video, or if you're not in the playlist right now, click here for the playlist. See you next time.